Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am solving my original puzzle. It's called I've Got Your Number, Never 4. The rules are never 4, place the digits 0 to 9 and never 4 in every row, column, and box. So that's a row, that's a column, and this is a box. Killer cages are clones. The same digits repeat in every cage in the same positions in relation to each other. Digits in a killer cage sum to the given clue. So these 7 digits sum to 38, and so do those, and so do those, but also this digit and that digit and that digit are all the same, as are those three, etc. German whispers. Adjacent digits along any green line differ by at least 5. That's a German whisper line. That's a German whisper line. Dutch whispers. Adjacent digits on any orange line differ by at least 4. So those digits, adjacent digits, differ by at least 4. Those are the rules. Pretty straightforward. If you can remember the never 4 rule, it does put some interesting constraints on the other rules. With that, I'm going to try to solve the puzzle. And if you would like to try it yourself, please go pause the video, go try it. I'll include a link, and then come on back and comment and let me know how you found the puzzle. Hard or easy, fun or not fun. And with that, I'm going to start solving. So what we know, first thing we know that on a German whisper line, digits must differ by 5 adjacent digits, that is. So we have the numbers 0, 1, 2, and 3, which are all low digits, and then we have 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, which are the high digits. Because they have to alternate, the 5 highs are going to go in those positions. I mark highs blue, like the high blue sky. That's how I remember, train myself to remember anyway. And I like yellow for low because the word low is in the word yellow. So these are lows, and they're 1, 2, 3, or 0. And the highs are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We know that the 5 can't go in the middle of a line. It would need a 0 on both sides. So that can't be a 5, and that can't be a 5. And that can't be a 5. So the 5 is either here or here. Now by clone rule, that means that the 5 is either here or here, because this digit repeats there. So one of those is a 5. And we also know that this is a high digit. Mark that blue. And we know that the third one from the left is a low. So that is a low, and that is a low. That's 0, 1, 2, 3. And we know that the fifth one from the left is a blue. There. So these two and that are all blue, because the killer cages are clones. Outside these killer cages, we have digits that sum to 3. 38 is the sum of the cage. And in a never 4 puzzle, the digits 0 through 9 without a 4 sum to the number 41. So these sum to 3. They're either 0, 3 or 1, 2. We don't know yet. Mark them yellow. 0, 1, 2, 3. On a Dutch whisper line, adjacent digits have to differ by at least 4. So wherever there's a yellow on a Dutch whisper, we know that the adjacent digits have to be high. They have to be blue, because it can't be a 4. And a 0 would require at least a 5 to differ by at least 4. So these are highs, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a low on a German whisper line. Highs and lows alternate. Wherever there is I can finish, let's see. That was the end digit is a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. by clone rule, these are all the same. But I know that there's a 5 here, and there's a 5 there, and there's a 5 there. So this is not a 5, and this is not a 5. These are on a Dutch Whisper 4 away from 9. Could be a 5, except that there's no 5s in the box left. The 5 appears there in the box. So these are low. There's 0, 1, 2, 3. And next to a low on a Dutch Whisper line, there's always a high. Cannot be a 4. And that means that this is from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we have an interesting scenario here and here, because we have to get from a high to a high, and there's 2 digits between. And the only way to move from a high to a high with 2 digits in between is somewhere in there is a 5 and a 9. So somewhere in that, somewhere in there, there's a 5 and a 9 next to each other, because it goes like 9, 5, low, high, or 5, 9, low, high, or same here. You can't go 5 and 9 and high, high. So one of these is a low, and one of them is either the 5 or the 9. There's a low there and a high. This is always a low. Because there is no 5. If there were a 5 here, that could be a 9. But because it has to be 4 away from a 9, this can only be a 5, but there's a 5 in that, somewhere in here. Just slammed my keyboard down on the back of my iPad, and I bet that caused a big pop in the video. Let's see, where do I go next? This is a 0, 1, 2, 3. And it can't be a 5 or a 9, because the 5 and 9 are here. So this is a low, and that's the 4th, between 1 there and these 3, that's all 4 lows in the box. And that cell is blue, and by clone rule, those cells are blue. Now, one of these is high and one of them is low. And that means that both of these are low. And now we have all 4 lows in this box. So the rest of the cells in the box are all highs. The only 2 highs that can go next to each other on a Dutch Whisper line are 5 and 9. So that is the 5-9 pair in that row. This is not a 5 or a 9. This is not a 9. This is not a 9, and this is a 6, 7, 8 possible candidates. Now, this pair cannot be the 5 and 9 in this particular run because of that 5-9. That would break that 5-9. So this is not the, let's see, well, first of all, that we know is not the 5 or 9, because the 5 and 9 have to be next to each other to get from a high to a high with only 1 low between them. And I've already established that this can't both be high. One of them has to be low, so that is not where the 5-9 goes. The 5-9 must go here. And this is a low. Because that's a 5-9. The 5-9 pair in this column has to be there. And this is a low. And this is not a 5 or 9. This digit is not a 9 because of the 9 there. It is a 6, 7, 8. And by clone rule, this is a 6, 7, 8. I already had that down here. And these are 6, 7, 8. And so this is a 6, 7, 8. This one by clone rule sees that one. That is not the 5 or the 9. This is the 5. That's the 5 by clone rule. That's the 5. This is not the 5. These are both 0 because 5 minus 5 is 0. So these are not the 0. Those are not the 0. The 0 in this box is here, so that's not a 0. This is not the 9. The 9 in this column is here. We know the 9 has to go next to an 8 somewhere with the 3 between them on a German whisper line. So one of these is the 3. This is not the 3. I think at this point I have to color the outside digits. I'm going to color them purple and orange, or sometimes I call that pink. I get confused. This is the shading of the outside digits. The one on the line I'm going to mark yellow, or yellow and red, hashtag that red. This one is orange by Sudoku with those two. This purple ends up there in that box and here in this box. The red is somewhere there and here. Okay, maybe this whisper line next. This is from 0, 1, 2, 3, 5 or 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5 or 9. This is a 6, 7, 8 triple. That's a 6, 7, 8 triple. 6, 7, 8 by clone rule. I know there's a 9 somewhere on the cage, in the cage. So it's somewhere there, but it's not here. So the 9 is in the end, the first digit from the left. And I know that next to it is the last low of the rows. So that is a low, and I'm going to mark that green. These are no longer 9s. So this cannot, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8. These cannot be the 5s. 5 plus 4 is 9. So those are the 4 lows in the box, and the rest are highs. The low requires a high on a Dutch whisper. And I know it's not a 5 or a 9 because of the 5, 9 there and the 9 there. This ends up a low between 2 highs on a Dutch whisper. That's the last high in the column. There's 4 lows in the row. Everything else is high. Last low in the box. All the rest in the column are high. These are highs, or lows, excuse me. If that is the 5, that is the 1. Okay. This is a 1, 2, or 3. It is a purple or an orange. Okay, this orange sees into that box. That's the orange. This is the red. So this is the red. This is the green. And now green is 0. These two have to sum to 3 without a 0. So they are a 1-2 pair. And red is 3. This is a 3. These 3s see into that box. This 3 and this 3 make that a 3. Now I've got a 3 here and a 3 here. These are 1, 2s. This is a 0, 3 pair. We know how they go. That's a 3 and that's a 3. That's a 0. These are not 3s. And they're not 0s. This is not a 0 or a 3. This is the 0. 0 up there. There. And there? Nope. How did I end up with a 7 there? 7 and 0 are next to each other on the number pad. But by clone rule, that was a 0 when I was resolving the zeros. Okay, the purple needs a spot in this box. It's there. That's the last high in the box. That's all the lows in that row. These are both lows. Last low in the column. Last high in the box. Last low in the row. Last high in the row. Kind of a piece of cake from here. Okay, this 3 needs to be 4 away from that digit, so that's not a 6. And by clone rule, that's not a 6, and that's not a 6. The 3 needs an 8 on a whisper line. That's a 7. And by clone rule, that's a 7. That's a 7. These are not 7s. That 8 makes that a 6. In that box, the 8 makes that a 6. And that's an 8. And that's repeats on the cages. They're all the same. This 3 needs a 9 next to it, not a 5. That's a 9 and a 5. Makes that the 5 and that the 9. This is the 7. That is not a 7 or an 8, that is the 6. 9, 8 in there. 5, 6. 7, 8 pair. On a German whisper line, that has to be 5 apart, so that's the 1. That is the 2. This is the last low in the box, it's a 2. That's a 1, that's a 2. 2 can't be, yes it can. It can be next to either a 7 or an 8. 3 can be next to a 7. Okay, the 1 goes here in the box, last low in the column and in the box. That's a 2, that's a 1. Have I figured out what color 1s and 2s are yet? This is the 5, of course. That's the 9. 6, 7, and 8. And this would be a 5, 6 pair. And this is a 8, 9 pair. A 6, 7, 8. A 6, 7, 8. This is the 9. Makes that the 8. And that the 9. And that the 8. These are not 8s. And that's not a 7. 6 and 7. That's a 5, 8 pair. That is a 6 or 7. And that's a 6 or 7. These are not 8s. That's not an 8. This 3 plus 4 makes 7. And 8. And 7. And 6. And 7. And not a 7. This is the 5. That's the 6 and the 8 and the 6 and the 5. 7 makes that a 6 in the column. That's the 7. The 8 in the column. and the 5. Now, how do I resolve my 1s and 2s? 5 minus 4 is 1. The oranges are 1s. I'm going to just get rid of all my yellow. And now orange is 1, and purple or pink is 2, and I'm done. This puzzle was inspired by the Tommy Two-Tone hit Jenny 8675309. Read any one of the killer cages right to left, and you will see 8675309. I originally set this puzzle with the number going left to right, but because the killer cases resolved so early in the puzzle, I didn't want people to just figure that out and then be done with the puzzle. So I flipped the puzzle on its head and left to right anyway. And this is what I came up with. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know.